Hi guys, welcome back on my YouTube channel. This is Awande Lutuli, also known as Mr. Manandi Nandi. Um, if this is your first time on this channel, I would like to humbly ask you to please press that subscribe button, man, and join this wonderful family. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you very much, man, for clicking on today's video. All right, it's Friday, and hi, I hope that you guys are good. You guys are well. Everything is doing good wherever you are. In the comment section, can we meet there? And just comment and let me know. Where are you watching this video in terms of the location? If you are in KZN, Gauteng, Mama up in Gauteng, Mama up in KZN, you know, yeah, I would like to know about that. Well, welcome to the home of conquerors, by the way. As we are conquering those degrees, as we are conquering those interviews, as we are on our way of becoming. My name is Awande Lutuli, also known as Mr. Manandi Nandi, also known as Mr. Sam, the aspiring CA, obviously. Yeah, man. Guys, today I said let me just come here and maybe share with you my journey. You know, I've been receiving so many so many messages, guys, on my emails. I've been receiving so many emails. I've been receiving so many DMs on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you know. And I said, even on my WhatsApp, because some of you has got my numbers. You took my numbers in the description and then you sent me those messages. I ended up taking a decision that, you know what, let me just come here and share this with you. Many of you know that I have been academically excluded on my journey. Well, it took me 7.5 years to finish my degree. I shared more of you know, my academic exclusion story. I think it's in 3 parts or 4 parts. So yeah, you can check it in the description below, and you will find those videos there. Yeah, so yeah, guys, so now vandaag I said let me come and share with you basically my journey from academic exclusion to getting employed. Yeah, so that's what I am here to tell you about, of which, well, I'm a just an accountant. Okay, junior accountant. That is my current job, and junior accountant, which the contract that I signed was a permanent contract. Okay, so now let us share that journey. Okay, as many of you you might be aware that in 2022, that was the time where I got my first academic exclusion, 2022 June, after the first semester. Okay, so there are so many things previously that resulted in me getting that academic exclusion. However, that June academic exclusion, they said, okay, we are excluding you, but we are giving you an opportunity to appeal. You know, then I made that appeal, submitted my appeal, and yeah, I got readmitted after my appeal was successful. So 2022 July, second semester, then I came back again, and then I continued with my academic journey. And then I remember that year, that semester, I was registered for taxation level 3, auditing level 3, those two modules only. All right, and yeah, and I failed both of those two modules. Taxation, it was I think it was 46. Yeah, it was 46. Auditing was 43 or 42, somewhere there. So I failed auditing second semester, which is taxation 3B and auditing 3B. Okay, so I failed, guys, and then I was then academically excluded with no appeal permitted, right? And then in 2022 December, I remember it was a lot that was a lot that was going on. December after receiving my academic exclusion letter. In fact, I knew waiting for the result that I would be academically excluded because I knew my result. Yeah, because we are going for script reviews. When you're going for script reviews, you can see your result, right? So yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, then what I did, okay, before I go to that one, how I got academically excluded. There were so many factors that contributed towards my academical exclusion. So yeah, taxation. Um, I did bad on my test, both taxation and auditing second semester. But the exam, I passed the exam. Unfortunately, the DP does come into play. So my DP was low. That is why I failed. Right. So I did well on my exams. Well, taxation on my exam, auditing on my supplementary exam. Yeah, but the DP was so low. So I ended up failing, guys. Right. So yeah, man. But if you want to know more about my academic exclusion, please go and look at the video below, part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4, if there is part 4. Right. So now, but these are just factors that contributed towards my academic exclusion. I was lacking in terms of planning my time as a student, and I got to know that after, in fact, during my academic exclusion break. Okay, so a lot of lack of planning, it contributed a lot towards my academic exclusion. In terms of when it is time for studies, I will be doing something else. Yeah, man. So yeah, but I learned. Also, not understanding the type of a student I am, which is still part of the lack of the planning. Obviously, I want to believe. Not understanding the type of a student I am. As a student, man, it's very important to understand the type of a student you are, right? In terms of what? Listen, other students are good, like they are more energetic, more productive at night. Other students are more energetic and productive in the morning, others during the day. So I didn't know where do I fall, to a point that whenever someone tells me, some girl, let's go and study, right? Maybe it is at night and I'm not good to study at night, I will go there. So meaning I was wasting a lot of time, because probably you will find me sleeping at the library. Some of you knows, if you are from UKZN, PMP during those years, yeah. So those are the things, man. Also, lack of consultations. Guys, I don't know how to emphasize this point. If you are not consulting with your ADOs, tutors, and your lecturers, listen, man, you will think that you understand the concept, yet you don't understand the concept. Or not consulting quality still early. Yeah, that's another thing. So it's very important. So I believe that that one also contributed a lot towards my academic exclusion. And I am saying that because I had to know all of these things, guys, so that I can know what to fix when I came back, right? Also postponing, obviously, the study time, procrastination, also failing to prioritize my academics, to a point that you'll find me doing other things. I would prioritize other things, not academics. It's good to do other things, extra curriculum activities or whatever, right? I'll, but your priority should be academics. If you are selling something, that's cool, but you should prioritize academics, not the business. If well, that is just Awande who says that, then you should prioritize academics. I don't want someone to say, "Hi, what are you saying about entrepreneurship?" I'm not against entrepreneurship, guys, but you should prioritize academics because you went to university for academics. Yeah. I know that even the organizations that we are part of prioritize academics than those organizations. So yeah, I believe that is what also contributed. So yeah, but then you know, because I got the academic exclusion letter in December 2022, and then they were saying you will be excluded for a minimum if you did that for a minimum of 6 months, right? So meaning I had to prove that I'm ready to come back after at least 6 months. Now, I then booked for a consultation, not a consultation, but for a counseling. But I told the psychology that I don't want you to tell me that it will be okay and all of the things. I want to know what should I do, and then and she assisted me. That psychologist assisted me a lot. She was the best. um, you know so, and then she told me what I should do and all of those things, right? Then obviously, my pastor at that time, I would call him and talk about my issues, so which then worked as form of a counseling, yeah, it worked as a form of a counseling because he was aware of the situation I was going through, and then he was assisting me then there, so yeah, and then so therefore he then wrote a letter for me saying I was doing counseling with him telephonically. Yeah, what else? And then I was also assisting my friend's aunt. I don't know if, yeah, but Auntie Kamkanam. I was assisting her in her accounting company, right? So she then, while I was doing, well, I was assisting her online, obviously. Yeah, and then she then wrote a letter for me, um, clarifying that I was part of her company for 6 months, January to June, right? But obviously, the letter I remember because she gave me the letter, it was in May, if I'm not mistaken. So she clarified in that letter that I will finish everything in June, right? So yeah, because I had to apply for readmission at that time. So yeah, and then I wrote the motivational letter telling them what I was doing. Okay, basically, I first clarified the things that made me fail on my academics. But also, yeah, okay. Because another thing that contributed towards the academic exclusion was that I lacked motivation. The more I failed, the more I lacked motivation to continue fighting for my CASA dream. So yeah, well, yeah. I wrote that motivational letter then, clarifying the things that made me not perform well on my academics. Then I told them what I was doing to fix some of those issues, the counseling and working in that accounting company, So yeah, and then after seeing that I'm ready, well, the committee, I don't know what the name of the committee, but after they saw that, okay, fine, Samgalo is ready to come back, and then my readmission was successful. Therefore, I was able to register in 2023 July. I registered again those two modules, So now that meant that I have to change things. That is why self-introspection was important during my academic exclusion break. And yeah, of which because after, those telephonic calls, but obviously those calls that I would make with my pastor, because obviously I was far from him at that time, so we communicated a lot through telephone. So I saw the importance of doing counseling, therapy and all of those things, and universities, they offer free therapy sessions because there are therapists there, or psychologists, so then I started doing that, and it assisted me a lot. I don't want to lie, especially during examination season. Ooh, it assisted me a lot. So yeah, I started going for that. Also, because another thing that contributed towards my failure is studying alone. Studying alone. That is another thing. That was a big factor also. So I had to do things different. So now I had to study alone, but also I had to study with groups, in groups also, because now studying in groups, it assisted me a lot because I would understand a certain concept that in another way that I did not see, or a concept that was hard for me, especially in auditing the audit cycles. That thing was so hard. But what assisted me a lot was studying in groups. So yeah, obviously I started planning my time accordingly, obviously with the help of my therapist. My therapist also assisted me to understand what kind of student I am. So we went through all of those things. So those are the things that I did differently. So I was not, because especially the studying in groups, because I was not studying in groups just because I want to hear from another person. I will study first on my own and then go and work with groups, because that's very important. So yeah, that's what I did different. And so when I came back, obviously I registered for tax 3B, auditing 3B. I passed those two with taxation, with another mark that even today I still don't believe it that was me. Yeah. Then we proceeded to 2024 first semester, and I registered for 3A. And I registered for managerial accounting and financial management 3A. My past auditing taxation failed, and I don't know the lie, that was devastating. But but throughout my journey, I've learned how to deal with with failure. So yeah, so I remember that test one, test one was so bad, man. My managerial accounting 3A test one was so bad. To a point that I think I got 35. Then test two, I got 22. I was like, what is happening here? Then I appealed, and I asked them to allow me to go and go and write the exam. So that was another thing, going for therapy sessions. Yes, it assisted me because my therapist wrote a letter to the committee that would sit and decide whether I should go and write the exam. So yeah, and my mentor also, because I had a mentor also that was provided by the school. So that was provided by the institution. So both of them, they wrote letters for me, and boom, and that is how I got it. That was how I was able to go and write my exam, of which I went there. I failed because I remember my final mark was 30% after writing the exam, and yeah, that was bad. But then I appealed again to go and write the supplementary exam. Well, I passed the main exam. All right, let's pause. I passed the supplementary exam, not the main exam. Okay, let's continue. However, obviously, the DP, since it was so low, 32.5%, and it's contributing 40% towards your pass mark, so you can check in that 32.5%. So it will now be changed to be over 40. So I don't know what is that, but it was bad. It was bad. So yeah, and then but the DP was so low, and then the exam was good, but not good enough for me to pass the module. However, I got above 40. That was at least that was first goal now at that time, because the goals, guys, change. In May, when I was preparing for my exam, I was like, you know what? When I was preparing for the supplementary exam, I was like, you know what? I have to fight at least I have to get 40% final mark so that I can be able to proceed and do the managerial accounting second semester. So yeah, and then that is how I qualified to do the managerial accounting 3B. And and that then qualified me to do what to do or to that I then qualified automatically to write the special exam for managerial accounting in 2025 February, beginning of the year. So yeah, well, second semester 2024, test one I got 33%, and then I was like, no ways, something must change again. So I went to the lecturer, consulted with her because we had a new lecturer at that time, and then yeah, she took me through on how I study. Sometimes guys, we don't appreciate enough the lecturers, the work that they do, not just lecturing the concept during the lecture room, but what they do even outside the lecture room, how they assist us. She assisted me a lot, and yeah, I was able to do well on my test too, and I got above 60%, so I qualified for the exam. And then I fought so hard for the main exam, and I passed the exam without a supplementary exam. So then I then started to prepare for my special exam, which I wrote in 2025 February. Well, I failed that special exam. Obviously, it was very hard. It was very hard. Okay, sharp. And then I registered for I then registered for managerial accounting 3A, the one obviously that I failed even on the special exam. So I registered for it, obviously with the help of certain individuals, well, with the help of my lecturers, Facebook community, my church people. So they assisted me with the registration fee, in fact, with the whole fees of last year, obviously. And test one got 30%. Well, I made a huge mistake, which one mistake that contributed or that meant that I would lose the whole 50% of the paper in test one. Test two, I passed, and then I went for an exam. I failed the exam, but it was 42% or 43%, I don't remember. Then obviously I went and wrote the supplementary exam. Then supplementary exam I passed. So I remember when I got the result, we were at a psycha camp. I was a camp leader last year, 2025. I was a camp leader from the 1st of July to the 12th of July. The results came out on the 11th of July. Right. When the results came out on that night on the 11th of July, then I updated my LinkedIn profile. Yeah, basically, which now will contribute towards how I got my job. So, and then yeah, I updated my LinkedIn profile, and then updated my LinkedIn profile that I'm BCom in accounting holder and all of those things, right? And looking for a job, cyber articles. I was looking for anything, guys, at that time. Junior accountant and all of those things, right? Then I then received a DM on LinkedIn. Hey, Samkelo, how is the work? I'm like, no, I don't have work. It was on the 16th of July when I received that message, that DM on LinkedIn. And then I told them, no, I don't have work. I recently finished my degree. Obviously, I'm currently looking for work. And I said, oh, hey, would you like to join this company? And yeah, that's how I got the job. And then the director asked that we meet, and then we met, and then we discussed the job description, salary expectations, yeah, and basically that is what we discussed, and then that is how I was hired, therefore hired, and then we signed the contract, the employment contract. Yeah, here we are. Yeah. So we then started last year on the 1st of September. So that was my journey. But my academic, well, currently I am registered for postgraduate diploma in accounting at ADVOS. But you know what my academic journey has taught me so far is trusting in the Lord. You know, the Bible says, trusting the Lord with all your heart and not lean on your own understanding. I think one day I'll have to make a video on how I trusted the Lord with my academic journey, because you know God communicated with me so many times through His people. You know, yeah, and whenever I'm praying, also He will communicate certain things about me and with this journey. But one day I will find the courage, and yeah, I will pray about it first, obviously. When the time is right, I believe that I will come and talk about that. You know, but I think that the most important thing that my journey taught me is to trust in the Lord. You know, yeah, but also perseverance. You know, perseverance. You know, especially if you believe in something that I know that I want to be a CA, or you know, I know that I want to be a CA, and I still want to. You know, I fought so hard for that. You know, for my degree, you know, and yeah, man. Perseverance. That is another thing that I learned from my academic journey. You know, there are so many things, though. There are so many lessons that I got from my academic journey. But I think those are the top two. You know, those are the top two lessons that I learned on my academic journey. Well, the journey continues, man. And this year I've registered. I'm starting in July, obviously. I've registered for postgraduate diploma in accounting. So at Edivos. Yeah. So please, guys, thank you very much for watching this video till this far. And obviously, I will come and share with you the experience as we move with the postgraduate diploma in accounting journey. So we'll talk about that at some point. But thank you very much, guys, for watching this video till this far. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys. So please continue watching, man. Continue subscribing. Continue watching these videos that are here. You know, thank you very much for watching this video till this far. Let us meet in the comment section. Thank you.